Good morning, Maya back. Here's the plan. Bathrooms and plumbing. I'm going to go back to something that I forgot entirely about yesterday after filming it right at the beginning of the video and look at what's been going on with that particular item, and then it's on to bathrooms. Upstairs and downstairs, still tiling, still ceilings, still wash basin, countertops, and then we'll see what else happens. What could possibly go wrong? This is what I forgot about yesterday. The pressure tank, which has now been connected up to a pump, and it looks like it's all been wired in. What it hasn't been yet is fully piped over to the house. We'll go and take a look at what Oliver is working on to rectify that. Here he is, digging a trench. It's back to the old original days of when we first started this house. So, trench being dug right up by this north wall. Earlier on, the plumber was out here taking a look, making sure he was happy with what was going to be done. So, the piping, the PPR piping, which is quite wide diameter, will run from the pump house down this wall and then back across to somewhere around where O'Donnell is over there, who is, yes, working on catch basins again. We're back at the small bathroom off the side of the sunroom, and you might be able to tell that I'm a little bit late doing this because down just inside the door here, those tiles that were not in place at the end of yesterday now are. And what I hadn't appreciated was there was still a little tiny bit to do up above the door. But then this room will be fully tiled. We got a delivery. When I did speak to the engineer first thing this morning, I asked him about ceilings in bathrooms, and he said there was a bit of an issue because they didn't have enough of the metal fairings. Well, delivery's here, along with more tile adhesive. This is the bathroom in the gym and spa, and Don Don's back in here having rectified that floor in Aldrian's bathroom. He's back on tiling inside here. Long way still to go in this room. We've only got really a little bit of this wall on the left, and even littler bit. Oh, my English is so good. Down at the bottom of the wall in front, just extending all the way around at the moment, or almost all the way around. This is just outside the bathroom in the helper's room. I'll try and peer over Frederick's head. I don't want to get in his way, so just bear with me for a second. Okay, well that helped. He picked up the tile and moved. So, that tile was cut to size and now fits perfectly alongside the others. So again, this is early doors for this bathroom tiling. A little bit on the right side, a little bit on the far end. That's all we've got so far. It's not all about bathrooms today. Adele is back and he's once again sandpapering. It's got to be, I said it yesterday, this has got to be pretty hard work, not only just to be doing the sanding, but to be doing it on a ceiling, which is a fairly unnatural angle to be trying to keep your arm muscles held to. That's got to be hard work, but has to be done. And then skim coat will go on here at least twice and probably 3 times before they get to paint. This is Jack's bathroom, and we have a mostly poured top for this cabinet, which is number 4 out of the 5 upstairs. So clearly this will get finished today, which will mean that in this bathroom we're done, but still not with that last tile or tile and a bit. Still have no idea when that's coming. In Sabrina's room, the forms have been removed for this countertop. I don't know what happens around the inside edges, so where the tile was cut in a not particularly straight line on this side and over here, actually that one's a little bit better. I don't know what happens in terms of filling in that gap, what goes at the back as a kind of a backsplash, I suppose. We'll see later, but I imagine not today. Alex's bathroom. Forms also off here. So in this room, platforms have gone, which I guess means that the next step is likely to be mud and tape and then skim coat up on the ceiling. In Adrian's room, very crowded, can't get in there right now, but they are in the process of attaching the metal structure for the wash basin cabinet. And then we'll see whether today they also get around to preparing all the forms and pouring the top of this cabinet. This is the revised plumbing for the shower unit in the master bathroom. So the 3 jets which were over here are now right in the middle. So one up at the top, one down there, and one down at the bottom. This is looking like a bit of a maze of PPR piping, but I believe it's done. So the next step is for somebody to come back and replaster in all the holes. If that plastering does get done before the end of the day, and given the fact that the forms have also already been removed from this wash basin top, that may mean they can come back in and start again on tiling, both, well, initially on the walls and then on the floor. My guess, however, is that there's probably a bit too much still to do, so given the fact that they're also working on tiling downstairs, I think this floor and this wall probably won't get any more attention until at the earliest tomorrow. All you budding or existing landscapers, I thought I'd give you a bit of a flavour of what we're very provisionally thinking about for what to do with this back area of the land. At the moment, no plans for the front, because we're still contemplating whether there'll ever be enough money to do some kind of very small scale commercial venture there. But from here, and I'm not including, I'm not sure if I'm including this area. Still thinking maybe a kind of a very small, if you like, a kitchen garden just here, where we try and grow things that will grow without too much cover, but things that you use on a daily basis. So some herbs we might better put into here, and various vegetables that we may be able to grow without too much cover, although I suspect we'll end up probably putting up a very simple bamboo stakes with some very rough and ready shade netting over the top. Not sure yet, but what that would mean is these little budding fruit trees that we planted pretty soon after we arrived, they will all be moved. Hopefully they'll survive. Down the left side, from the end of the basketball court down to the wall, I think the plan there is fruit trees, and probably more fruit trees or trees of some sort lining the edge of the pond over at the back there. In the middle, probably we're going to do down to roughly where the nearest end of the White House is. That will all be uncovered vegetable gardening. And then from roughly where the back end of this truck is, for this area, apart from the road still going through it, but basically here, we might try and tidy up this grass and make some kind of a lawn out of it. That's the very provisional thinking. Oh, there's another thing. This bit of vegetable garden area, I think we're going to try and surround with a small fence. And that will have two functions. Firstly, just for appearance, but secondly, would allow us to potentially have vegetables on the outside edge, which grow vertically, you know, vining type of vegetables, and so we can use that as a trellis effectively. And also right in the middle of it, I think it might be quite nice to put some kind of table and a couple of chairs, because it's going to be hard work here. Need somewhere to sit down and have a cup of tea. That's what we're thinking. Oh, there's one more thing. Somewhere here, if we've ever still got any money, which is looking increasingly unlikely, a gazebo of some sort, somewhere just outside the edge of the swimming pool. Well, there you go. Those are some provisional thoughts. All of the rest of this, at this point, absolutely no idea. We'll come back to that at a later time. One thing that is going to be a monumental task is both here and at the back where we just looked. There is going to have to be a huge amount of ground clearance and levelling. It's not going to have to be perfect, but the way it is at the moment, particularly where they've had piles of gravel and things, we're going to need to get as much of that removed as possible, or the builder will, and then lots and lots and lots of levelling. So it's going to be a Herculean task. It's going to take, let's face it, years to do all of this. But maybe fairly soon we might make a little tiny bit of a start towards the back end where we first looked. What we will also be trying to do is to be completely organic, trying wherever possible not even to use any kind of fertilizer or amendments. We will, wherever we can, simply be using the nutrition from compost to grow everything. It's a bit of a challenge, but there is a particular channel that I watch, it's Charles Dowding, who is one of the main voices for what is termed no-dig. There's an extension of that called no-till, but no-dig. So as far as possible, you don't disturb the soil, which is not going to be entirely possible here. And to some extent, where we're going to be growing stuff at the back is slightly less relevant because a lot of it will be in raised beds. But as far as possible, we will allow the compost to supply the fertility that plants need. Could be a big challenge, particularly for someone like me who has never, ever done any gardening in his life. But those are the kind of thoughts we've got at the moment. Landscapers, give me your best. What suggestions, improvements, what else could we do that doesn't cost any money? It's 4:30, the day is done. I skipped the post-lunch walk around. I thought that with all the rambling I'd done about the landscaping, it was getting a bit long. Well, the other explanation is I did a bit of compost turning, wore myself out, fell asleep, woke up too late. Take your pick of those two. Let's have a look inside the house. But before we do, I got a question for you. The question is in here. How big should a pressure tank be? How do you know if this is large enough or not? I imagine you have to take this whole unit together But does anybody know anything about pressure tanks and whether we think this one, and I can't actually tell you the size, but I'll try and find out, how big should it be for a house that's kind of fairly substantial like ours is? Anybody who's got any thoughts on that, please drop me a comment. Bathrooms. Here we go again. This is the one in the gym and spa. So we now have tiling up to the height of the highlight tile, peering around the corner, all the way around except right here by the door. This is the very similar looking but slightly smaller bathroom in the side of the sunroom. And here, not only do we have all the wall tiles in, we've now got most of the floor tiles in place. In the master bathroom, it looks like there was still a little bit more work done with this fixture for the shower. Elsewhere in the room, no more tiling, not today. In Adrian's bathroom, they did finish attaching the wash basin cabinet structure to the wall, and oh my goodness, my memory, I think this ceiling is all new. It's not quite finished. At the far end there's a little tiny bit missing, and there may still be some more screws need to go in place, but I think all those panels are new today. And this is the wash basin cabinet. I'm really struggling with wash. Why would that be? Anyway, this is the wash basin cabinet in Jack's room, and yeah, of course, they got that top finished. There is one very small and very temporary change that is purely for the benefit of the crew. What could very loosely be described as the office over beneath the mango tree, and also the spot where very often they would sit and have a drink after work if it was a Friday or previously a Saturday. It's not there anymore. They've moved to just here, because with us now being in rainy season, it's just too wet under that mango tree. This gives them a bit more protection. So this is the new office, the command centre if you prefer. For David Craycraft, we're back at the pool. The one problem with falling asleep in the afternoon is that it meant I didn't come over here and actually wander around. I feel like I'm missing something. I don't know whether anything else significant was done. I just walked around the house and I couldn't see anything else. But it just feels like I've probably not captured everything. Never mind, I'll find out tomorrow morning if I did miss something. I know there was a little bit more work done connecting up piping for the new pressure tank. Beyond that, I really don't know. So, tomorrow morning, come back. I shall reveal all of the things that I missed, or maybe there's nothing to reveal. See you then.